Hello, this is Valerie from Creations by Valerie, and we have our sock. I'll try to zoom out a bit. And we have the toe finished, and I've knitted the length that I need my sock to be. As you remember, each of us are doing socks to fit, and these are actually to fit someone who is a friend of my daughter's. So they're not my foot, but made to fit her foot. But I'm where I need to do my toe. I mean my toe, not my toe, my heel. So I'm where I need to start the heel. And so I'm going to turn the heel, and I'm going to make the heel on this side. And this side I'm not going to work. And so what I've done already is I've just taken the stitches off. I didn't knit them onto yarn or anything else. I just used a needle with a piece of scrap yarn and pulled the stitches off purlwise so that I could just place them on the needle. I will show you how to do that later. The reason that I'm not doing it at this moment is because I actually did this last week because I wasn't able to do the video and I needed the needles for another project. So I just put the whole thing onto scrap yarn, and then I just have taken and put back where I'm going to start the heel. So I'm hoping this will work. I don't have the same setup as I did when I was in Texas, so we'll do the best we can, and if it doesn't work, I apologize tremendously. I am using a rather long cabled needle. It does not have to be this long at all. You can use double point needles. This just happens to be, I have size 16 cable, which is really, in my opinion, too short to do this small detailed work. And I have a this long of cable. But I also don't have any other needles in this particular size. I don't know if I can get it where you guys can see the size on here. It's a 10.75 or 7 millimeter, which actually I think creates, this is using Lion Brand's Thick and Quick wool, and it creates a really tight fabric. It still has lots of stretch, but it's really warm, thick fabric. The bigger the needle that you use, the looser your fabric is going to be. And I've tried the 10 and the 10.5, and it's just too tight for this yarn. And so when I'm using like a number 6 weight yarn, I prefer the 10.75. You can use an 11, but 11 jumps up. So this goes from 7 millimeter, and 11 goes up to 8 millimeter. So it's a pretty big step from 10.5 to 11, and this 10.75 truly has become my favorite size. Unfortunately, these are the only 10.75s that I own, which is, like, may sound like to you, oh, so well, I only have one of any size, and it's not. It's just I don't. I have double points in almost every size. I have circular interchangeables. I have 3 different types of interchangeables. So it's just not, there are very, very few sizes that I only have one type of knitting needle, and this is it. Actually, I think there's one I have a 17 and one I have is actually a full inch, so I don't know what size that is, but I'm going to show you those. So doing this is exactly the same as the toe, except for the last part, where you join the toe in around. You're not going to do that. You're going to pick up the stitches that you already worked, that you put on the yarn. So we're going to knit across, just knit, 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 all the way across to the very last stitch on the needle, and then we're going to do a wrap and turn. Now you can do a standard wrap and turn, you can do any kind of short row turn that you prefer. There's a great Craftsy class on short rows. It's a free class, and the instructor has the best accent ever. And she will show you how to do the short rows in multiple ways. She does not show the method that I use here, so, and I'm going really fast and it's probably blurry and I apologize. But I'm just trying to knit, and I'm assuming that we've got the knit stitch down. Okay, now I'm at the last stitch. It's still on the needle, and what I'm going to do is pull up. Let's see if I can get better video here. See, there's a reason why Craftsy charges. They have great equipment. I do not. So I'm going to lift this bar of the stitch below. I'm going to lift it up onto the needle, and I'm going to knit into it and pull that off, trying to keep the original stitch on, which doesn't want to, sorry. So I pulled it off, original stitch still on there, and I did something wrong, so we'll give me a second to readjust as I drop the stitch completely off the needle. Okay, so I'm not working into this stitch on the needle. I want to work into the bar below. So I put it up on top, I knit into it, and then I pull that off, and then I put that knitted stitch back on. So now I have 2 stitches worked into this same stitch on the row below, but I'm going to count that as just 1 stitch. But by doing that process, it allows me to turn, and sorry about that, it allows me to turn my work, and here are the 2 stitches, one loose, one real tight, and then just purl my way back across. And as you all know, purl's not my favorite stitch. So I go in from the back to the front. I sometimes pull the yarn out of the way. I do pull the yarn down once it's in place. I pull the yarn down, and then I pull the needle through the loop and take it off. So back to front, yarn around, and then pull the needle through and off. So back to front, around, and off. In, around, out, and off, I believe is how I explained it earlier. So let's do it again. In, around, out, and off. So we're going to purl across all the way to the last stitch. And then, and I again apologize for the fuzzy video. So I'm on this last stitch, and remember the knit one, we pull the bar up, and we're still going to, but we need to pull it up on the other side because it's a purl stitch. So we're going to bring it over, and we're going to lift the bar from the bottom, and then we're going to go through, and I just lost my needle, which really bites. So okay, so now we've gone through, and we're going to purl into that loop, maybe not. Okay, around, out, and off. And now, as you see, I have two purled stitches, or 2 stitches into that stitch from the row below, and it allows me to then turn my work and go back the other way. If I need to take these 2 stitches, put them back over. Remember, It's 2 stitches worked in that 1 stitch, so we're now going to consider this to be 1 stitch. And then we're going to knit across to the last not turned stitch, so the last single. And I'll try and slow down so you guys can see me knit if you need that help. So in, around, out, and off. See if we can get a better angle so that the lighting isn't so awful. Again, I tried waiting to get good lighting and it just hasn't happened, so I'm just going to knit. I was trying to make it so you guys can see better, but fighting with the lighting and fighting with the, I don't think you'd see it anyway. In my particular case, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 stitches on my needles, and so I am going to wrap and turn 5 stitches on either side, because I try to do a third, and if 1/3 would be 15, divided, if 1/3 of 15 would be 5, and I have 14, but it's close enough, so I'm going to do 5. So I just turned the second one on the knit side. Now I need to do the second one on the purl side, and I'm going to go ahead and stop it here, because you can go back to the toe video for this process, because it truly is exactly the same. And I'm going to go ahead and pick it back up when we're picking these up, just so you can see the picking up of the stitches. But go ahead and continue to wrap and turn until you have the number of stitches turned, and then I'll do a second video for picking those up. I'm just losing my place with my camera. So, if you have questions, please post the questions. If you've successfully done your toe and heel, sorry I keep saying toe, but we're at the heel. If you've successfully turned your heel and you or worked your short row heel, post pictures. We would love to see everyone's heels. I think I would love to see them. I'm sure others would love to see other people's work. It inspires us when we see someone else's success. It makes us think, oh, I can do this. They did it. I think I can do this. So share. Let us know. And if you're having problems, share that too. Maybe, even if it's not me answering, maybe someone else has the answer. And that's what's really nice about the Craftsy platform. If you haven't taken Craftsy classes, is that you can ask questions, and a lot of times fellow classmates will answer them. And that's just really cool, I think. I will never be that good because I don't have the technical stuff. I don't have the technology needed to do amazing video.